We were a little bit fortunate when COVID hit because we are a 24/7 business, 365 days a year. We do literally never close. So anytime in northern Michigan we have a snowstorm, people work from home, they're used to that. So we had to do a few technology things like the phone systems and a few more laptops and things like that to accommodate people working from home. But for the most part, we were ready to go.
When we got the information that there was a shutdown happening, I was at home that morning having coffee. It was an office day for me. And the first thing I did was call the inspector from the Michigan Department of Agriculture, who is our regulator, just looking for guidance. So I try to get my information from the source as much as I can. Just something I learned is the best way to go is to get a primary source. And so she kind of talked me through what she knew and what she thought the ramifications were going to be for our business. Turned out to be very few, honestly, but that was my first call, was to MDARD, and because we've built a good relationship with them, and wanted to make sure that we understood their perspective, and so that we could make our plans.
First, when Governor Whitmer shut down businesses, it was a bit of a shock, and it took me a minute to step back and think about, well, here's a chance for change. What can we do?
Our big challenge with the COVID was that we were in production. From February through April, we're planting to fill all those greenhouses because we grow everything that we sell. And it was very challenging. We had started up. We were 3 weeks, into it with a crew of about 15, and we were planting to fill all those structures because it's 120,000 square feet, so it takes all that time. And when that hit, I have half of my workforce is older, and so 6 of them decided to take leave, and most of them said they didn't want to return. They didn't feel they were going to return.
COVID affected my business by forcing us to rethink how we go to work every day while staying open during the shutdown. We were fortunate to be considered essential and never close our doors. Everybody needs coffee, so we were lucky there. But it did force us to step back and rethink how we were going to get from start to finish every day while being safe.
Well, first of all, as you know, the COVID crisis really hit us mid-March. That was very close to when we had planned to close in mid-April. We tried to stay open and managed to do so for 2 weeks. But with the issues around the guests being in such close proximity, and the fact that many of our volunteers that help provide the services are what I will call people that are at risk. We finally decided that the best alternative was to go ahead and close early.
Yeah, we already had some personal protective equipment, on hand because we use it all the time, but we did sort of see this coming and we stocked up, and I'm really glad we did because we had everything that we needed to give our caregivers peace of mind, our clients and their families, because we're not only trying to keep our seniors safe, we're trying to keep our employees and their families safe. And so, that takes some doing. But everybody has just adapted and, pivoted and been right there to just make sure that we're not letting anybody down.
Well, then the next thing we did is we convened a meeting. So we're closed on Mondays, and so we brought everybody together. I don't remember, that was like the 13th, whatever day of the week that was. It might have been a Monday, so I don't remember. But we brought everybody together and we talked about it as a team. We retrained everybody on our cleaning procedures. One of the things that's been interesting for us in food service is that all of this cleaning that seemed really new to everybody, we're already doing that all the time. The teenagers that work for us are always joking to each other, if you can lean, you can clean, And so, but we brought everybody through, this is a surfactant, and that gets the dirt off, and then this is the sanitizer, and all of those things. So
I knew we had a very talented group of people with a lot of different skill sets. We had a lot of equipment that allowed us to make all kinds of interesting, unique solutions. And knowing that what was first and foremost needed in our community were things related to communication about whether a business is open or whether there's special PPE needed to enter a business or an organization. And that's of course a natural fit to our sign and graphic side of the business. But I also saw an opportunity on the PPE, the personal protection equipment side of things, where sneeze guards was a big thing, face shields, and we have everything we need and all the team we need to be able to produce that. So that was a quick transition for us, was developing that and rolling it out to our community.
Luckily, my granddaughter, who also works for us, is 19. She had a connection with a lot of college girls who also got sent home quickly. And most of them for summer would work in restaurants and that, you know. So she recruited a bunch of them. So we went from, you know, an extra 6 that were over 60 to 6 19 and 20-year-olds. And so we recovered pretty quickly, but it did take a lot of, you know, transitioning and where are we going and what are we doing, and we know what we have to do. And so it was like, get her done.
We really always focus under the sky is always falling model, but this is the first time it's been a national health emergency. So we're used to our supply lines being disrupted all the time. And it's one of the things that, in a way, food service people are literally the last step between someone getting sick and not. So being aware of safe handling procedures is really ingrained into the systems that you deal with restaurants and cafes and grocery stores, because if you don't trust the stores, then you don't have food. But to have it thrown at us this way was a pretty big challenge.
As is in a normal year, we helped some of the most vulnerable guests find some alternatives, either at the Goodwill Inn, or we used motel vouchers that were furnished through Goodwill for some of the guests. For those that weren't eligible for that type of help, as normal, we provided tents, tarps, and sleeping bags, and you know, they're kind of on their own for the summer.
We kind of took it as an opportunity to bring everybody together, air out how people were feeling, because that was a part of it too, and then retrain on some of the stuff that we already do every day, and just re-emphasizing it, like, no, really guys, no dirt. You know, when I come in at 1 in the morning, the first thing I look at is all the flat surfaces.
We pivoted to focusing more on grocery and mail order. At one point, 90% of our local business was literally shut down, but our grocery business took off because nobody was going to stop eating. So I'm fond of saying people need food, clothing, and shelter. You don't have to, but you can try and sell them all three. We just focus on the food part.
We have an office team that basically schedules all these hundreds of shifts every week, and they immediately, I think overnight, we had everybody working from home and figured out how to make our phone system work that way, and it was just crazy. Our caregivers in the field, though, which is the most of our employees, for the most part, they just hung in there and stayed there and you know, kept trying to take care of their clients. Some of the clients were nervous, but we put all these precautions in place and all these safety measures, and they've been heroes, really. They just keep showing up. Yeah.
I'm impressed with my employees for putting up with me, and we work very collaboratively. There's 4 of us at work, I tell people, so it's very easy to get to the bottom of things. But at the end of the day, we've got a great little team that works collaboratively, and when we need help, we help each other.
We have a very good team that's been working on this, and You know, actually, I've just been kind of overseeing it. I really haven't, you know, it's not me. I'd like to, you know, give credit to some of our volunteers that have worked on a team, along with our doctor.
I'm impressed with my employees because we changed hats so fast, and everybody's got really versatile, and they just, you know, grabbed the job they had to do and did it. And the customers, I was just so amazed with their loyalty. It was amazing.
The advice that I have for others is a few things. So staying positive is so important. Things are going to get better. Knowing that we have such a bright spot up here in our community. We have so many great minds and great people up here. And tying back to the relationship aspect that I mentioned, relationships are so important, especially in times like we are living in now. And we have to remain connected as a community and lean on each other when we need help and support each other. And all of this ties together in that I see so many cool examples of people stepping up to the plate to help organizations. I serve on the Goodwill Board of Directors, and it's amazing to see how our community has come together to support the organization, and so many other examples of that around. So my advice is stay positive, stay connected, and we'll get through this.